Sir, am I audible? Yes. Now it's clear.
Morning all. I'll be the moderator for today's session. I'm Indu, Assistant Professor at Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology. Today we have with us Dr. Umakanti Kulkarni, Professor and Head of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, STM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
He obtained his BE in Computer Science Engineering in 1989 from Karnataka University and Master's Engineering in 1991 from PST College of Technology, Coimbatore, and PhD from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has conducted several workshops and training programs in the computer science domain and specifically in outcome-based education. He has published several papers and obtained copyrights in the area of stream processing and OPE framework related work. He has completed one AICTE funded project. His area of interest include distributed systems and applications, pervasive computing, software agents, and NBA and NAC accreditation based on OBE framework. Presently, he is a coordinator for NBA at college level. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Today's session will be on role of accuracy in technical institutions and academic audit. So you may continue with your session.
Thank you, madam. You will be coordinating this session from the other end. If any audio, video disturbance issues and all, you can call to me on the mobile number, which you know, right, I have displayed here. And yes, all the participants, right, if they have any questions and all, they can put in a chat box, and the coordinators from other end, they can read that one, and at any point of time, okay, I may be stopped for the questions. That's the one thing. Second thing is, right, I request the coordinator, you remind me 5 minutes before this particular session ends, right? This ends at 11 o'clock, 5 minutes before, so that I will, okay, correctly complete that particular session, whatever I'm doing it, right?
Okay,
so, madam, what is your name, madam? What's your name?
My name is Indu.
Okay, Indu, right. Okay, one of my team member is also Indira. Okay, this. Okay, that's good. Right, I remember. Shall I begin?
Yes, sir, you can. You can.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be talking to you on role of IQAC in technical institution and academic audits. And I'll be giving a very comprehensive view of all these things. And please remember that I'm an MBA coordinator, and I'm working with this particular thing from 2010. And also I'm a IQAC in charge of my institution, driving an academic audit and IQAC related activities, right? Feel free to ask any question of any kind, any number of times. right? You can reach to me at this also at any point of time, right? Yes. So now, what all I'm going to cover about that? Before I get into an IQAC or the academic audit, or the questionnaire is that you will come across as an auditor, right? I need to tell you establish a context about what makes an institution. Then only you can audit. What are the issues in engineering education today at national level scenario? Then only you can have a better understanding of an audit. Then you need to, because we do all these things for accreditation purpose, let it be a NAC or let it be an MBA or otherwise, right? So you need to understand an outcome-based education also, so that my audit perspective or IQAC perspective will become a widen, right? This. So these three fundamental things I will establish a context so that audit can go better. IQAC can function very well about that, right? So, and the team participants, they're all different. In earlier, I introduced that one. That's why yesterday I asked Dr. Manoj from your institution, are this participant are different? No, they are different. Hence, there is a need to establish a context and get into. Otherwise, I've started from the remaining things. But quickly, I'll establish it, right? And you all people know, right? Every institution would like to be recognized, for its unique attributes, right? That makes it distinct. So one of the important things as a part of an audit, the question comes is that, well, how different you are? What distinct feature you have got it? What are the unique selling points that you have it? If that is a question, like the two heading or leading your department or a program institution, you should be in the position to tell about that, right? So audit question, right? I'll be giving a huge list of audit questions, right? One of the things begins that one, how distinct you are. You should be able to show with an evidence that we are distinct from these things. Academic distinction, administrative distinction, and other ambience, culture, infrastructure distinction that what you have it, right? So when I talk about the IQAC is to be referred as an academic lokayukta, right? It can intercept anybody in the institution, right? Any level of accreditation, but under the control of the principal, director, whatever the authorities, the head of the institutions that we call upon, right? Does. And you know about that, an IQAC should look into what is the brand of the institution, what makes a brand. And IQAC is responsible for establishing the processes and also ensuring that processes are being followed and ensuring that processes are producing the right result that whatever that you design. All these things are necessary, right? Yes. Then it is it has to define the quality parameters, right? And it has to drive it. Yes. Now, when I refer to the NAC, what makes the institution? Or what makes an institution I'm sharing with you, so that your audit or IQAC perspective reach in every dimensions of the institution, right? It may be curricular aspects, it may be TLP, teaching, learning and evaluation, it may be research, innovation kind of things, it could be infrastructure, it could be a progress that you do, governance, leadership, and also institution values and best practices. Look at the 7th point is the most important thing. What are your institution values? Assume that I'm an auditor. I would like to, I don't want to see micro level documents and this thing. I wanted to ask you at the stock level, what are your institutional values? What are your best practices? Tell me, show the evidences and all, right? Based on, because 7th point is a summary of everything. It encompasses everything from point number 1 to point number 6. These 7 dimensions according to NAC makes the institution, right? Yes. Now, why I'm telling all these things? I'm telling this because you as an auditor, you as a the process designer, right? You as a defining the quality benchmark, you should you will be working at the institution level, right? Your scope of working is point number 6, 1 to 7. Everything it includes. That's why I refer this as an academic lokayukta, right? Yes. Fine. There are many other aspects which I would like to tie. When you an audit, right? We were audit from the OBE perspective, right? Now, what are the OBE perspective, right? It starts from institution vision mission, gets into department vision mission, program education objectives, program outcomes, right? Course learning outcomes, right? Course delivery, improvements, right? Everything. And its impact on, okay, other things like a placement, target, many dimensions. So what makes an institution? The IQSC people, right? I told you that it is an academic lokayukta. It is an institutional level lokayukta. So it can, okay, intercept at any dimensions. What are the dimensions at which it can intercept? Stakeholders, statutory bodies, vision mission. For example, a statutory bodies, when you look at that, right, AICT has observed certain deficiency. What are the deficiency and how do you overcome? Do you have a plan? Right? Yes. Vision mission. Now, my question is that one, okay, are we making a progress? What are the vision mission? How do you measure the progress of an institution? Right? Strategic plan is a baseline on which, right, progress of the institution is measured. And strategic plan is designed, okay, based on the mission, whatever you are set. Right? What are the bodies and committees that ensure your strategic plan is being, okay, implemented properly, right? And other administrative, okay, the activities which you have planned, right? What are the different activities, facilities, and modeling, input output in terms of admissions, in terms of faculty recruitment, documents, tools, softwares, progress, audit, quality compliance. When I talk about the quality compliance, it is at different levels. It could be at the question paper level. It could be, right, at the teaching learning process level, or it could be at the institution level. What are the quality standards that you have established? One of the example, okay, when I ask the question, right, quality compliance at the question paper level, right, what are those? They are nothing but, right, compliance to the course outcome rating. Did you comply? Just a minute, there's a disturbance of railway. I'll wait for a few seconds. Okay, thank you and sorry, both, right? So, a quality compliance of a question paper is a compliance to the course outcome. Did they comply? Are there any body available to review that? How well they have done it? What all they have noticed? Scope of an IQSC I'm telling. What makes the institution is the scope of IQSC. Internal quality assurance cell, or sometimes it is being referred as the internal quality assurance and control, right, in industry. Governing council, academic council, standing committees, various committees, purchase committees, right, academic appeal board, IQSC by itself will be part of this, right? Various committees at the institute level, department level, board of studies, if at all you are an autonomous institution, right? There are different bodies, board of examination, right? Various committees at the department level. All these things makes an institution, right? So as an IQSC auditor, as an external auditor, if at all I come to you, I'm going to ask you what are the different committees? What are the roles of that? Right? What all they're doing? Right? Thus, then there are different dimensions. I can get into any dimensions of these things and get you to know about that. Right? Thus, so this is at the institution. Right. Now, when I get into academic level audit, let me introduce certain facts and then get into the actual work. The actual work will begin right from here when I click the link and get into it. About the IQSC, about the documents, questionnaires, internal, external audit. This is green, blue color, whatever you see, those links, when I click it, actual things begins. But I need to establish, when you do an academic audit, right, okay, the possible flaws, possible weakness, possible drawbacks, possible concern, right? The IQSC reviewer auditor should know about that. then only they can do better. If you want to do a policing, right, you should know all the possible crimes, right? All the possible ways of knowing, doing the crimes. If at all you know, you can better police, you will be a better policeman, right? So, and also you should know about the standards. You should know about the international level expectations, standards and all. So then you can do better. For example, for autonomous institution, my question to them is, as a part of an auditor, what kind of flexibility that you have? And how this flexibility given to you as a course teacher, that you are using it, right? That may be a question that we'll see after the break, right? Your 3 sessions till 3 o'clock, right? First 2 sessions is about the accuracy, and after the lunch, you get into the audits, right? So let me get into, right, to become a good policeman, right? Many people say that it is not fault finding committees and all right, right? But at the same time, they appreciate the good things, whatever you have done, and they try to find out the flaws. And as a part of the progress, right, they suggest that what changes is supposed to do, right? Now let's look at when you do academic audit, what is an engineering scenario in the institution level that you should know about that, right? Now look at that. This is one of my favorite things which I'll speak about that, right? So always a concern that IQ as a leader should know about the national level concern is that the technical education, the way they are growing and the kind of graduate they are producing, right? They are not going hand in hand. So placement, kind of companies they visit, the kind of, the package being offered, that is one indicator that speaks about the kind of graduate that you produce, right? That's one of the outcome, right? For everything, you need to have an indicator. How well you are performing, placement is one of the indicators. Quality of graduate is the kind of, the offer that is being made, kind of company they come, kind of offer, right? The job profile, they get it, right? That is one of the indicator about the quality of the graduate, acceptable to industry. Hope you are understanding it. Now look at the concern that is being expressed by the people mentioned there, right? Insufficient availability of qualified faculty. Qualified faculty is not the degree that we are holding. The ability to ensure, train, enable student for industrial acceptance is qualification. It's not a degree, right? So you need to, then naturally, the scope of your academic audit gets into the kind of the assignment, kind of a question paper that the institution is producing, department is producing, right? Teaching methodology, right? That is again another audit parameter. Is it that only the classroom teaching, there's old good things? I said old and good, both. But they're not sufficient today, right? When you do an academic audit, you have to get into what kind of newer teaching methodologies that's being followed. You know why I'm telling all these things? We'll see that, when we refer at the NAC manual, we'll see how relevant these things are there for the academic audit. One of the parameters of an accuracy functioning also, right? Evaluation techniques. You need to evaluate this, audit this also, right? Question paper quality is compliance course outcome. Then your assessment also. Then your evaluation, right? Out of 10, the student deserve only 2 marks, but sometimes, right, the marks given is 5, 6, 7 and all to boost something. Those kinds of an audit that should get into micro level things. A review, right? Review, external review on question paper, external review on sample answer paper evaluated. That will be the best practices of any institution, right? Right. So, any question at this stage from any of the participants? So, IQ as a leader should know everything and should script the different tasks when you want to create a new process, you should know, okay, what are the process and what dimensions you have to create. Right? Coordinator, Indu madam, right?
Yes, sir.
And out of the box, let me share, right? The name, whatever your name is there, it is the name of my mother also, right?
Okay.
Coincidence, out of the scope of this, I'm telling. So I hesitate to call your name also, because how can I call my mother's name like Hindu? No, I cannot call. Okay, next coordinator, madam, right? Any question at this stage from the participant? Because I'm establishing the context, the scope of academic scope of an IQSC one by one. This is a part of the scope.
Any questions from the participants? They can post in the chat box. I'll address the question.
Okay. So I'll proceed now. The moment you get a question on any of the topic. Okay.
Yes, I will. As soon
Yeah.
as that, as soon as I get the question, I will.
Right. You can rewind the scene and take me back to any point, okay, whatever I discussed. Fine. Then look at that. Okay, when you look into the kind of an assignment, academic audit, I'm talking about that. A kind of an assignment or the questions you get into, right? Will it create a habit of independent thinking and spirit of inquiry in student? Right? So how a self-learning is being implemented, I would like to know. What are the qualities of learning happening in your institution? I would like to know. Right? For that, an assignment and question paper serve as an evidence. Right? So let me share with you one of the screen about one of my question paper. With your permission, coordinator madam.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right. Look at this. So recently we have completed, right? It is a software engineering. People who come from computer science, they understand better. So look at that. Note, requirement specification to be used for Q1 and Q2 is given in Annexure 1. Prepare the use case diagram for the given requirement specification. Question number 1B, prepare a sequence diagram. Question number 2, prepare DFD, prepare user interface. For what? The one which is unknown to students, and look at the case study. The case study of 5 pages has been given. Case study of 5 pages has been given, right? And people have to read this and do it. And it's a 1 hour exam. People wanted extra time. I extended it to 2 hours. Though it's a 1 hour structure in our institution, extend 2 hours. That's called flexibility. Right? Look at this. So this 5-page report, they have to look into, right, when they prepare. It is unknown to the students. So this kind of an evidence speaks about the quality of an assessment tool design. It should not be simply cakewalk, like what's your name, explain with example. That cannot be a right kind of things that you can get into, right? Getting the right kind of questions is a very important thing. Right? Any question at this stage? And look at that. Computer science people, they understand, right? Right? All are practice-based sessions. If they have practice, then only they can answer this. Otherwise, they cannot answer. Right? This is just an example that right? This is an example that I'm putting to you. I was talking to you about the independent thinking inquiry. Right? So if this is driven in a classroom, regular classroom or regular activity, then they can pick up any question which challenge their mind. Right?
Participants, please mute your microphones.
That's good. So when you do an academic audit, particularly focusing on question paper, the auditor should know what is the level of critical thinking embedded into that. That is a point of an audit. Not simply that question paper is there, done. Question paper is reviewed, yes. But what is being reviewed? Right? Do they comply? That is an academic audit. It is done internally as well as external. External is a higher level abstract thing. Internal is more micro level things. Right? Right. Lack of ability to examine and understand real world. To what extent you are preparing for industry readiness? Part of an academic audit. Right? Part of an academic audit. Please look into that. Right? So, this small introductory things. Please mute your mic. Right. This is the one, the national level scenario people are all talking all about. Right? Right. The auditor should know about this. Now, another important thing what auditor should know about, quickly I'll take you, then the actual things I'm going to start. You people should know about the OBE philosophy also, so that you can adjust your audits accordingly. Right? So what are the things that you should know? Quickly I'll take into. What is important is, 1 minute, I have a call, emergency call, I'll take. I'm sorry, coordinator madam and all participants, there was an emergency call, right? So look at that. When we talk about the competence and performance, your academic audit should focus on this. What level of competence, okay, that students, okay, you are preparing. Right, fine. Then another thing, look at that, your academic, administrative and academic audit should focus on these things. Okay, one of the thing is, I'll show you. Right. Do you have, do the teacher have a flexibility, right, in defining the style of teaching and assessment, right? That flexibility, do they have it, right? So, is the course teacher have, say, freedom to decide their own question paper format, right? So, I don't want to take an internal exam too, right? I can, right, in place of that, the implementation based assignment I'll give it, or my assessment will be based on the course project. Do they have a freedom? What is the level of an academic freedom that IQAC design the process and give it to faculty members, and are they being followed? That is maybe a question, right? So one should understand. An auditor should understand the OBE principles also. Look at the point number E, higher order thinking. Is the higher order thinking is embedded into your course outcomes? Is it being followed in your assessment tool, different examinations and all? Right? Right? Whether reports are being prepared on measurement of an attainment of the outcome properly? Is our attainment outcome standards are being set properly? Right? What should be the standard? Right? So, preparing the process, preparing a standard, academic standard is a responsibility of an IQSC. Right? Look at that. Encouraging teachers to explore better ways of designing and delivering instruction. Are you flexible enough? What kind of flexibility you are given to teachers? Look at point number H. Viewing curriculum, instruction, and assessment as a flexible and alterable means of accomplishing outcomes. What level of flexibility you have? Let the people answer to that. So, if an auditor understands all these things, they can do much better, right? Other than this, I don't want you to take into this OB sessions and all as a part of this, right? I'll take you to the main course. So, you have understood what is the institution, what is an academics, what is an OB, what are the challenges and issues that you have in engineering education as of now, right? Now the question comes is that IQSC should know the pulse of everything, pulse of the standard, pulses, trends in, right, the this education field, right, trends in the domain, right? Then they should know the pulse of every individual department and faculty members. There are no friends, right? There are no friends, right? Please remember, and they have to prepare, guide, prepare, create a process and ensure that processes produces an outcome. So now let's listen what we have seen the institution. We have seen the issues at the national level scenario. We have seen what is the outcome-based education in short. So we established the context. Now let's get into what is accuracy, why required, why we need an accuracy, what for is an accuracy, what all it does as per the NAAC specifications. Right? We'll get into this. So whatever the input that I'm giving is based on our experience and also some of the documents published by MHRD and criteria 10 of SAR of NBA and also NAAC. All these aspects, which we are practicing, we are using it here in this presentation. When I talk about IQSC, the first important thing is why IQSC is required. And what are the strategies, what are the functions, what are the benefits, what are the composition, what are the assurance initiatives, what are the plan of actions, strategy development and deployment, administrative audit, and our experience. I will drive it this and till 3 o'clock, all these things will get into. Right? Yes. When we look at the most important thing, IQSC, right, is you find it in criteria 10 of NBA, where people talk about the strategic plan and its effective implementation and monitoring. Who does it? Who monitors this? Strategic plan at the institute level, strategic plan at the department level are the most important thing, right? So strategic plan becomes a base for an IQSC to perform an audit. Because your plan for the 5 years, 10 years growth plan is a growth plan, is a progress plan. So that becomes a fundamental baseline document in performing IQSC. Right? Now there are many questions that we come across auditor of or the IQAC team has to look into. Right? IQAC will function at higher level at the institute level. You can have it at the department level, right? With redefined micro level activities. But at the institute level, you have a higher responsibilities, right? So question that goes to the institute level IQAC are different. Look at this. Does our strategic plan map out a clear development path for the institution? Right? This is a question that is to be asked by IQAC to the institution who are developing strategy. Right? Look at the second one. How can we assess the success of the institution? What are your success path? Tell the stories of your success path. That is one of the questions scripted by IQAC as a part of its audit. What is our mission in a specific area? For example, what is our mission, in terms of making student industry ready, in terms of research, in terms of infrastructure? Please mute your mic. I request all the people who are sitting in the home, please mute your mic. Yeah, that's good. Right. What are your mission? How mission is connected to your strategic plan? How strategic plan is well implemented? That is a part of an audit. Do you have a clear framework for planning? That you need to look into. Okay, show that. And to what extent you are doing about that. Does the institution have a coherent and good quality set of strategies? Coherent and good quality set of strategies in key management areas, academic, finance, estate, HR, information system, everything. I told you that IQAC covers everything. Show the plan. Show the roadmap. Show the execution, path. Show the evidences. Look at what Max speaks about the different strategies. IQAC shall evolve mechanisms and procedures. What for? You develop a procedure, right? To ensure timely and efficient and progressive performance of an academic. The processes. Right? Performance of academic and administrative and financial tasks, mainly. It covers 3 dimensions of an institution. So what are the procedures in academics? What are the procedures in administrative things? Right? So they are all the important things. Right? Look at the second part. The relevance and quality of an academic and research programs. The IQAC should develop strategies in this. Equitable access to and affordable of academic programs for various sections of the society. How well it can be done. Look at the most important thing, 4th point. Optimization and integration of modern methods of teaching and learning. So IQAC should produce these new things to them. Right? People today know the COVID-19 has taught a lesson. How well we are equipped with the online. A lot of complaint about online kind of things. Right? Because we are not used to that. Had it been taught and the mixture of offline and online introduced properly, and then COVID-19 should not have made any differences for student in terms of learning and teacher for conducting classes. So IQAC, while creating a new process, it should look ahead of time and then do it. Right? On different dimensions here. Look at that. The credibility of evaluation procedure. What are the evaluation procedure? How should you get into? Right? So you are an autonomous institution, you evaluate that. What are the criteria of that? What are the procedures for that? Right? Maybe external participation, quality of question paper, right? Call it different types of assessment tool, third party moderation, then transparency, show the answer paper to students before publishing results, and look at the any discrepancy in evaluation, right? How to do it? What are the procedures? Right? Then what are the support structured services available? The most important is research sharing and networking with other institutions. Right? How do you network? This is one of the major, right, bottleneck in major of the institution about the networking with other institutions. Right? Look at some of the functions of IQBSL. Right? Development and application of quality benchmark and parameters of various academic and administrative activities. What are the quality benchmark? Example, in case of right, teaching learning process, right, you have a targets you set as per NBA. That could be one of the benchmark, right? So number of students and also the percentage of marks they score. You can set higher things and then you say that we are at level 1 to 3. Simply saying that level 3, our attendance is at level 3 doesn't make sense, right? But what is the definition of level 3? That makes sense, and that's called benchmark. I'm giving only the example, few examples, right? Maybe placement. What are your benchmark? Right? Benchmark could be the salary, the nature of the job, the whatever they get it, right? So that can be a benchmark to speak about the quality. What are the quality placement? What do you mean by quality placement? What are your benchmark for the quality placement? Right? Facilitating the creation of learner-centric environment conducive to the quality education and faculty maturation to adopt the required knowledge and technology for participatory teaching and learning process. Ambience, infrastructure. In online, right, do you have a studio where you can record and make it available so that people can refer at any point of time? Right? So any question at this stage? Because 11 o'clock, the first session will get closed. So shall we keep 10 minutes or 5 minutes for any discussion, question, answer, pertaining to only whatever that I have covered so far? Coordinator, madam, can you prompt the participant to discuss?
Yes, sir. Participants, any questions, please post in the chat box. Tell me any questions.
Because the interaction questions will make the things better. Benchmark, right? So at least a 10 participant should ask the question, not for sake of asking. That is a benchmark. Any question? Coordinator, madam, any question in the chat box?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. If not, I wanted the host institution, okay, to ask few questions, right? How many participants from the host institution, right? So I'll continue. They can prepare and get to know, because only the interaction will make the things lively, right? Thus, okay. Now let me get into the other thing is, okay, arrangement for the feedback response from the stakeholder on quality related institutional process, right? What all the response that you have taken, what all the feedback you have taken. Most of the institution take the feedback and keep it there. They do not get translated into the implementation, a solution for that, and people are interested to know how the feedback is translated into actual implementation.
Sir, there is a question.
Please.
What is the difference between evaluation and assessment?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Really good.
It's from Indu Tyagi in the
Okay.
chat box.
Okay. Okay, just a minute. I have emergency call again. So I'm back here, right? So this assessment and evaluation, we should not look at the dictionary meaning, right? As per the NBA, assessment tool refers to the different ways of collecting data about the student. So we have written type of examination is a one assessment tool, right? Then you have a course project. Then you have got a seminar, right? Then like this, okay, then you can design industrial visit could be. All this becomes an assessment tool, right? Correct, MCQ type, right? Written test, all they become, they are called assessment tool, which, okay, allows you to collect the data about the student's learning. Evaluation is, right, you assign a grade for that. The procedure of assigning the grade for that is called evaluation, as per the NBA. Is that clear? The faculty who asked this question, can you unmute and respond to me? Can you unmute and respond to me?
She has replied in the chat box. Yes, it is clear.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Any other questions? You people can prepare a question and interact with me, make the things useful so that you can become a good teacher also. I was talking about the feedback. Usually we take a feedback, maybe class level feedback we take, department level feedback we take, feedback we take from the employers, feedback we take for at different levels. But the thing is, what is the procedure of taking and do you act on that? Every point noted there, will it be, okay, the loop is completed or not? That's the point of interest as far as the feedback is concerned. Taking a feedback doesn't complete the activity. And accuracy should ensure the closure of the loop for everything. Right? Look at the other thing. The accuracy is responsible for dissemination of information of various quality parameters also. Right? Right? For higher education, organization of inter and intra-institutional workshop, seminar on quality related themes and promotion of quality circles. They are responsible for documentation of various programs, activities leading to quality improvements. They are responsible for, right? Look at the 7th one, then we'll come to the 6th one. Development and maintenance of institutional database through MIS for the purpose of maintaining, enhancing the institutional development of quality circle in the institution. they're responsible for that. Acting as a nodal agency, 6th point, of the institution for coordinating quality-related activities, including adoption and dissemination of best practices. So what are the best practices that you have? Right? So the scope is very wide. The scope is very wide. Until unless we define the scope of this, right, the IQAC may not function. People think that internal quality assurance and cell, okay, does limited kind of things and gets into. Because the overall responsibility is very high. The overall responsibility is very high. Right? Right? Any questions?
Hello, sir.
Sir, please.
What are the valid documents for the placement, documentation for the placements, whether a offer letter or some LinkedIn or something else? Valid documentation.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you in short, but in length, I'll tell you right afterwards, right? Because if you look at my session, oh, I'm sorry. Just 1 minute. If you look at my session, right, here documents and questionnaires, right, list of questionnaires and what all the documents to be maintained, I'm going to speak about that. But as a part of, since question has been asked now, right, at this stage, right, I'll tell you, right, for the placement, offer letter is mandatory. Right, offer letter is mandatory. Go for the copy of an offer letter. The moment student get placed, take an offer letter or, okay, the original email or whatever the document is there sent by the employer saying that following students have been selected for this. The original things,
Okay.
not created by your training and placement officer.
Okay, sir.
Right. And again, it depends on the group who visit your institution. There are some people who do not agree. They want offer letter means offer letter. That's why the total understanding is required for the auditors. If there is a letter from the employer saying that these people have been selected and offer letter has not been given so far, then there is nothing, no issues. But some teams do not accept it. And there are certain things like okay, social media references and all, people don't accept it. Right. But what you do is, I try to collect offer letter. In absence of that, letter from the employer, other email, whatever it is. Right. Next one is at least, okay, contact student and ask them to give ID card, this, that, and all, Xerox copy of that, sign and give it so that I'm working here.
Okay, sir.
Right. Right. And they should have an offer letter when they're joining, that copy, ask them to give it. If there are confidential things, then at least their ID card, we can send an email to you. My ID card is so and so, I'm working here, right? I'm placed through the placement activity of the institution. Right?
Okay.
But that is the last and the worst possibilities. But offer letter is mandatory. Many team, they expect only the offer letter because they blindly go for that. Offer letter means offer letter. They do not understand other things. I've seen it.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Thank you, sir.
But if I'm an auditor, I'll accept offer letter. I'll accept the email sent from this. I accept even ID card Xerox sent by an email of a student who is working, alumni who is working. Right? That also I accepted. Got it. But the very purpose of asking offer letter is that when they are in the institution, because of your effort, are they placed or they are placed on their own effort? When you are placed, then you should have proof for that, no?
Yeah.
Okay, that
Thank you,
makes
sir.
sense. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
Any question for the session one? Because session one is getting close at 11 o'clock. 11 to 11:15 is a tea break. I hope so. Coordinator madam, into madam.
Yes, sir. You may continue for 5 more minutes if you wish to.
No, what we do is we'll break because online, a continuous for the listener also is something troublesome. We'll take a break now. Come after 15 minutes as per the schedule. 11:15 next session begins. And we'll continue from this point. Right? So
Okay,
meanwhile,
we'll have a 15 minutes break.
yeah,
So
meanwhile,
all participants,
participants can put their questions in their chat box. Right, thank you.
please come back by 11:15.
Okay, thank you, madam. I'm back here. Whenever all participants they are ready, a coordinator can call me.
Okay, we can start now, sir.
Okay, that's good. Right. So we stopped at the point when we were talking about the documentation required for the placement, right? Offer letter is mandatory, right? Because they are reverse student, try to get an offer letter, right? Yes. Then let's get into other documents and all. I'll share with you when that section I'll deal with that. So, right? Yes. Now look at that. This IQSA should is acting as a nodal agency of the institution for coordinating quality related activities, including adoption and dissemination of best practices. It has higher responsibilities, right? It has to exhibit all best practices and all to produce a documentation for that, right? And also I said development and maintenance of institution database is the responsibility of an IQSC. Right. Look at that. What are the benefits? Ensure clarity and focus in institutional functioning towards quality enhancement. There has to be clarity. What are your quality directions for the institution? Ensure internalization of quality culture. Every department, every institution, every cross section, every corner, right? Everyone should follow the procedures. Right? Ensure enhancement and coordination among the various activities of the institution and institutionalize all good practices. And it should help in decision making. Right? Act as a dynamic system for quality changes, growth, progress, transformation, changes. Right? So build an organized methodology of documentation and internal communication. Right? How do you do it? Right? One of the simple, very simple, very primitive aspect is that one institutionable, right? The email IDs for all heads of department and deans. And any circular will go through emails. And if you want to send a hard copy, send an email, and the email print copy itself will go so that you can always, right? Email will act as a repository. You can collect any lost document in any point of time. That is simple, minimum, smallest, micro level things that we can share with you. So like this, starting from such simple things to the procedure of establishing the vision mission, that procedure also it can dictate. It can dictate, right? This. Look at the composition suggested by NAC. Chairperson, head of the institution, few senior administrative officers, 3 to 8 teachers, 1 member from the management, 1 or 2 nominees from the local society, students and alumni, one or two nominees from the employers, industry stakeholders, one of the senior teacher as the coordinator or the director of the IQSC. Right? This is the organization, composition of that IQSC, right, at the institute level, suggested by NAC. Right? That's. Look at the NAC suggests certain quality assurance initiatives. Quality assurance is always seen in the form of the process. The process is always being reflected in the backdrop in the form of a template, procedure, steps, whatever it is. Right? Look at that. This IQSC, what it is responsible is feedback from the stakeholders. Right? It may be academic and administrative audit it performs. It is a body responsible in participation in NRF. Right? You can get into IS certification, NBA accreditation, any other quality audit, right? It will ensure. Which is the body which takes care of all these things is IQSC. Right? So look at that assurance is through the process I said. Look at some of the processes, class committee meetings, question paper audit, board of examination, showing answer script to the students, strategic plan in their audits, exit surveys, parents meet, alumni meet, external audits, accreditation, feedback, etc. All those things can be taught. Right? Look at all these things you can categorize into three things driven by process. One is annual process at the institute or department level. Something happens annually, biannually, or whatever it is. Something happens at the semester start or closing process. Something is a daily routine process. These are three perspectives. These are three categories, baskets, where the different process can be put into. Right? So look at that. The plan of an action chalked out by an IQSC in the beginning of the academic year towards quality enhancement and the outcome achieved by the end of the academic year, that we need to look into and compare. What is that you have planned and what did you achieve? One of the examples is strategic plan. I have sessions to speak about the strategic plan. Wait for that. Right? Even MBA action plans. Action plan as a course, action plan as a whole program after the MBA visit, before the next visit. Right? It could be university local inspection committee, observation and action plan for that. So action plans are one of the important aspects that you need to see at different baskets. Right? Now look at that. The quality improvement strategies suggested for one or more dimensions listed here by NAC. Curriculum development. What are the question to be asked is, what are the quality improvement strategies for curriculum development? What are the quality improvement strategies for teaching learning, for examination, for research, for human resource, for industry interaction, for admissions? What are the things you have it? Do you have anything to speak about that? A few important things I would like to share with you. Now, as a part of an audit, these initiatives you have to look into. Right? So look for curriculum development, right? You can say 302 models of teaching learning process, practice-based learning, project-based learning, experiential learning, right? And performance. One of the model I would like to show as a strategy to improve the quality is performance ensuring. I would like to share with you, which we are following. Right? See here, this is how the syllabus of a given course, we write it in our institution. We write a course outcome, we map it to POs, we speak about the levels, Bloom's level also we mention, and also the levels, right, specified by IEEE and ACM we mention also. Right? Now what is that I'm sharing with you is that performance ensuring measure. Here we write the performance ensuring measures here. This will ensure that all course teacher, whoever is there for A and B division, or this semester or next semester, whoever is there, the minimum, okay, activities that is to be done, okay, it speaks about that. So look at that, whether I take it or my friend Sridhar Adwa take it, both of us, we have to do that, writing the programs to demonstrate synchronization issues and solution using pthread libraries. It is mandatory. Which problem we solve, that is different, right? But whether I take it or next time my friend Sridhar Adwa take it, both will ensure this. Thereby, right, the learning assurance we can give to the students. Now, what I'm saying is, this is one just example. This is just one example, right? What I'm saying is, strategy development and deployment as a part of this next suggests that quality improvement strategies, a curriculum development. Look at that. We have this strategy we have it. That will ensure, supposed to ensure learning qualities. Got it? Right? Similarly, teaching and learning, right? Experiential learning, activity-based learning. Okay, they are the important things, right? Are you making students, okay, to give a presentations here on few assigned tasks and all? Right? So that is a very important thing one should look for, right? Yes. Similarly, examination, right? Do you have an open book test? Do you have project-based evaluation for a given course? IQAC should think of that, right? Otherwise, who will do this in the institution? I wanted a few people to ask question because it directly touches every faculty member of what they do in the classroom. Please, okay, for a short period, the session is open for discussion. Indu coordinator, madam, please, okay, ask a participant as a teacher, do you have any questions on this?
Sir, projects for each course, do you mean?
Yeah, course project. We call it the course project. Yeah. Main project is different. Course project, they are different. They are all small in nature.
Is it similar to assignments?
It is a bigger assignment. It is a bigger assignment to be done in a group. Right? Thus.
It is like application of the course, whatever was.
Yes. That includes self-learning also, tools learning also, something add-on learning also, right? Different groups.
But introducing this project for every course, then the student is likely to be more hectic, right?
No.
Maybe.
I didn't say that for every course. For some of the course, there will be few assignments. For some of the course, maybe at least one course in a given semester. At least. For example, look at that. Okay, you are teaching the Java programming. Madam, which department you belong to?
I'm from civil engineering.
Right. Okay. For example, you take a structural engineering. I'm from computer. I don't know anything about civil, but yet I'm talking.
Yeah, right? I'm from, my background is structural engineering.
Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Right? Structural engineering. When you are teaching structural engineering, is it not a course project to give the design of the structure using some softwares and all? Make a student group and give it. Right?
Yes, sir. We can give, but usually the semester is tight with all the theory courses. So mostly students.
No. Okay, you have to make the semester tight with these activities.
Okay.
Right?
So maybe coursework we can reduce a bit and then have more time for project.
Yes. Like what you do is at least in a given semester, say 4 semesters, identify 1 or 2. And remaining people can give a smaller assignment, but this will be a bigger assignment called as a course project to be done in group. Assignments are done in individual level. And larger assignment become a course project. That is, you initiate in a group so that group learning, self-learning, right? The group interaction, heterogeneity among the groups and all these things you can take care. Even in the first semester also do it. A project at first semester is different. Project at 8th semester is different.
So we can start this project even from first year. Right?
Who starts? Madam, nowadays school children are doing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Understood.
right.
Yes, sir.
Right. Any question on this? Any question on this?
Sir, am I audible?
Perfectly audible, sir. Go ahead.
Sir, myself is Auratkar from Army Institute of Technology.
Oh, I was working there before. I was
Yeah.
working there.
I know, along with Dr. N.K. Bansode. Probably you must have forgotten me.
No.
Ah.
Okay. Then very nice to see you. Okay, from my
Yeah.
previous college, EIT. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
only recently SPP was introduced at first year level problem-based learning.
Mhm.
It is not project-based, it is called as problem-based learning.
True.
But
Okay.
only what is happening is, since it is a new course, everybody is not knowing exactly how to proceed.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Right.
can throw some light.
Yeah, I'll tell you. See, for example, a problem-based learning. Yeah, that's the right question you asked. Say I'm teaching a database management system, assume. So what I do is I'll create a problem. One, okay, problem statement. Sorry. Shall we build a database for our own department so that student information, examination information can be stored? Right? People says yes. No, tell me, I don't introduce, but start solving the problem. No, in order to do this one, okay, what are we should do? Collect requirements. Right? Then, okay, with the requirements, how should we proceed? Get into the design. Right? And while doing only, tell them the theory behind that. Don't tell the theory and then this. The theory and this solving that problem goes together. Your learning is to solving that problem rather than a traditional classroom activities. And at the end of the semester, the different student group has produced right demonstrable solutions, and you have to give a more weightage for that, not a written examination. Whatever they produce a demonstrable product, you evaluate that through presentation and demonstration, and that should be the marks goes to the problem based or the project based learning.
Sir, it is at the first year level. That's what the problem is.
First year level, so what you
Yeah.
can do is smaller things you can do. Smaller things. For example, C programming we will take.
Okay.
C programming. Now, shall we store, right? Shall we compute the income tax? Shall we compute the income tax of an employee? Shall we build a C program which will compute income tax return? Shall we do it? And there are no other assignment, right? Now, for that, again, the same procedure you get into is a small program. Through that, while solving, you introduce if statement, for loop, while loop, declaring variables, everything you take them.
Thank you, sir.
And in the class, you tell the design principles, requirement design and all, little bit of syntax, and they give small learning exercise and they do a project. I will give if statement to check whether age is greater than 20 or not. But using this concept, they are adding this knowledge in that small work of income tax computation.
Okay, good to nice to hear you, sir.
So anyhow, okay, nice to see from my previous college, and I wish I would like to associate. You can interact with your principal, and I would like to interact with the principal also.
Even Rachia, he is now vice principal, sir.
In AIT.
No. In the other college, he also remembers you.
Yes. Thank you on this platform. Now coming back to the other questionnaires, other participants. Anything you would like to know from me here? And as a part of an audit, when such things are being asked, just now, sir said about the problem-based learning. Fine. What problems you are given? How well is it scripted? What kind of outcome it has produced? What is the feedback from the students and all? Right? All these things, okay, the IQS has to look into. Do you have it? If you have it, how well you have implemented those things? Academics, I'm talking. Right? Similarly, research. Similar industry interactions, right? many aspects that you can get into. So any questions from the participants? I'm open. After 4 o'clock. Right? Any input? Any questions? Any interactions you want to do at this stage? Okay, all right. Right? Now look at that. So as a part of the NAC, you have to say about that one, have you done academic and administrative audits? External, internal. Right? You should perform an audit. Right? We'll see what is an audit. What are the things supposed to be done in that? We would like to look into that. Right? Maybe after the lunch break, I'll show you the templates also. Right? Right. Now, right, IQSC will also prepare an action plan. It will guide an action plan. It will ensure that action plans are implemented properly. But the question is, for majority of the teacher and institution, how do we write an action plan? What is required in the action plan? Right? I'd like to share with you. Right? So one by one, I'd like to share with you. So look into this. This is, I mean, if at all I'm the IQSC in charge, this is the template one people can look into. Right? But what is important is how do we write a action plan? Look at it. Yeah. One of the example I'm sharing with you, hope this is visible to you all people. If the observation is role of PSOs in the curriculum development need a proper consideration. First issue is understanding this. Role of PSOs in the curriculum development needs a proper consideration. Probably what you have to do is, right? I mean, what is that we suggest is existing procedure, what it is there, existing procedure, status and value, you mention it. What are the action plan, you mention it. Expected date of completion, you mention it. Right? Then, you get into expected change, faculty in charge and deliverables. This is a sample procedure you create and pump in to all the departments. And everyone should write like this. Who is responsible for this? It's an IQSC. What is that I'm showing? I'm showing the template. What is a template? Template reflects the procedures of doing it. Right? This is just a sample. It is nothing to do with the reality. So look at that. In this situation, the action plan. If this is the case, reviewing the PSO for its relevance and appropriateness. Do it. Review or mapping of COs to PSOs through program articulation. Do it. Validating POs and PSOs using rubrics. You do it. Identifying the sufficiency of PSOs. Do it. Auditing your activity by the third party, do it. Take an approval of your concerned committees and all internally, right? And issuing a notification indicating that any change request must reference to POs and PSOs, say change in the syllabus. Inducting revised concept in the curriculum, right? If you do this procedure and evidence is to produce, that's what is an action plan. The role of an IQSC is to tell that how the action plan is to be prepared, a template. And once they do it, auditing that also whether it is being done or not. Right? So, somewhere a procedure is to be prepared. I was telling about that, how IQSC can prepare the procedures as an example. Right? Any question at this stage? By any participant. I told you about the template report format, and an example as a procedure. And as an IQSC in charge, I will train all the people and say that one you have to do this. And after they implement this, I'll take the footprints in the form of a report and preserve it. So that if anybody wanted that one, I can disseminate the information, I can share the information. While filling NIRF, probably not this, filling NIRF okay, details and all, my data set will be ready, my MIS will be ready. How to facilitate all these things? Creating the process, following the process, collecting the data, collecting the report, and disseminating among all the different stakeholders of the institution. So it's a big activity. Any question at this stage? I was talking this at this stage. Action plan, how it is to be written. At this stage, I was talking all about. Question at this stage. These are the templates. These are the templates. These are the templates we create. And people have to fill. Who creates? IQAC, and give it to all the departments. They fill it, keep it ready, so that you are institutionalizing the procedure also. Right? So any questions here at this stage? The floor is open for the discussions. Coordinator, madam, right? You can prompt the participants to actively involve in these discussions. Any question from anybody? Please. Just a minute, just a minute. Madam, please. Okay, please, go ahead. Hello? Voice is not clear. Hello? Madam, your voice is not clear. Rubrics. Right. Okay. Rubrics are nothing but, right, a qualitative description you convert into quantitatively this one. For example, a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, assume that PowerPoint presentation you want to give a 10 marks. For some people, you give 10, 8, okay, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? Can you, okay, describe when you are going to give a 0 marks, when you are going to give 1 mark, when you are going to give a 2 marks, right? If the description, if you write it, that becomes a rubrics. Qualitative description, converting that into quantitative procedures. Right? I give 5 marks for PowerPoint presentation, provided these things are, okay, observed in that. If something is missing here, I'll give instead of 5, I'll give a 4. Okay, again, some other thing is missing, instead of 4, I'll give it, okay, 3. So this kind of description, if you produce, it becomes rubrics. You please wait for that. I'll show you the rubrics. I'll show the rubrics examples. Just a minute. Okay, you wait for that. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. I'll see it. Just 1 minute. I'll show you. Wait. Since it was not that, I'm not kept this connected link. Right? Major project. Now look at that. I'll show you the rubrics. See. 1 minute. Yeah, latest one I'll show it to you. Yeah, look into that. Is it visible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Now look at that. the design component. There are 25 marks, right? When UML diagrams, UI design, test case design, quality checks, if all these are seen, 100% of 25 will be given here, right? When I don't see, I see UML diagrams, UI, test case design, but quality checks are not seen, then I'll give a 75% of 25. When UML diagrams, UI is there, test case and other things are not seen, I'll give it, right, 50% of the marks. So similarly, now I need to call for that. In this case, right, test case may be there, but the UI may not be there, right? So what percentage of marks I have to give it? Okay, this grayscaling, since it is a 25 marks, we did not do grayscaling 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 25. We have grouped it, right? If it is a 5 marks, we can very well script it because, right, the grayscaling can be done. Then I can give a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different properties I can add it. So you have a criteria here, right? And when you are going to give marks, how much you are going to give, what observations if you find you give a marks. The description, if you are ready, the rubrics is ready. This is what we call as rubrics. Are you clear about this? Okay. Any other question?
Sir, there is one question in the chat box by Miss Indu. To obtain accreditation, the whole focus of the institute has been shifted to documentation rather on teaching learning process. How to deal with such situation as a faculty?
Okay, I'll tell you. What is the documentation? Whatever that you do, take a printout and keep it, that's all. You have a question paper, keep it. You are given assignment, keep a copy of that. Right? You have conducted one seminar, keep a copy of that. Report. Right? Okay, if you have taken an industrial visit, keep a report of that. Madam, this documentation is an integral part of that. It is a non-separable entity. And don't think that documentation is a burden. No. Documentation is an integral part of every activity. For example, right, you walk. Your walking is an activity. Footprints on the floor is a documentation. They are non-separable entities. Right? Many people think that documentation is a separate activity. No, not at all. If you think that it's a separate activity, it becomes a burden for you. Got it? So you can ask madam to unmute and ask, is there anything more or is it okay?
Can you please unmute and then respond? Or is everything clear?
Any other question?
Sir, in documentation, can we allow soft copies in some situation?
Now what happens is, okay, in fact, soft copy is an order of the day. I do agree, right? But there are certain essential things. What happens is, you keep it in a Google Drive on that day, it doesn't open. What you are going to do? What you are going to do, right? Better one copy, hard copy you maintain. After keeping everything soft, take a print copy, one copy you preserve it. That's what I personally recommend.
Okay, sir. But as auditors, a soft copy, if you are able to see the soft copy, is it okay or?
Majority of the auditor, right, if they are not from the computer science background, they prefer print copy only. Right? So it's better to keep both soft copy and print copy. It depends on the team again. Again, depends on the team. For example, you want to see question paper. I'll show the soft copy now. Why a hard copy is required. You want a minutes of meeting, I'll show the soft copy. You wanted a communication, I'll show the emails. What's the problem? But still people prefer hard copy. I personally like soft copy. But suggest that one print print copy, you better keep it, because many times the network failure, drive doesn't work, right? Server failures, okay, so many things, power failure, battery backup is not there, many things. In that case, what is that you are going to show? This is called risk. And keeping one hard copy is a risk mitigation, right? I think I've answered your question, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other question? Any other question? Because we wanted more interaction. Through interaction only you can learn and understand. Shall I proceed, madam?
Yes, sir. I think there are no more questions.
Right, good. Right. Right, this is the format, template, and this template is nothing but the process or the procedure IQAC has to design and ensure. Right? The another thing is about the strategic plan. Right, we were talking about that. How should the strategic plan should be there? Right, I'll show you. Right, is this visible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Just look into. Right, I'll show you. See, when you build a strategic plan, this is the session by itself, right? So you need to have a different mission, right? And your activity for 3 year, 5 year, whatever that is there, you need to prepare for every mission so that you can measure the progress of the institution, right? So we'll provide a template. Who will ensure that this is okay, right? So for example, right, caring and interactive teaching practices in a rejoicing learning ambience richly supported by all modern education tools and techniques. If this is a mission, then how is that in this year, I'll ensure that every faculty will get a laptop. All laboratories working up to night 10 o'clock. Use of Moodles will be an order of the day. We'll put into that, right? At least 5% of the student getting external certification as a part of independent study, right, or self-learning. Upgrading all computing machines so that the i5 with 8 GB minimum at least, right? This we will have it. So all these things activity. Now, what is the success of that, right? For example, you said that 5% of the student get external participant certification. Show me where you got it. And that becomes a progress of the institution. The progress of the institution is dictated by what you have written. If you have badly written, bad progress. No progress, sorry. If your written content is very rich in terms of vitamins, you will become healthy. The nothing but this, the healthy or the success of the institution can be compared with the growth of a plant. Right? You can see that very healthy plant and the plant suffering from diseases and all. It is true with the institution. The minerals, whatever it get, vitamins, whatever it get, okay, nothing but what you script here. This is just an illustration. This is not a true, okay, strategic plan. Right? And look at that. Okay, in the second year, what is the plan? 90% of the faculty member generate at least 5 hours per faculty member of video based on self-learning material, high quality. So for that, you need to establish a video studio. At least 10 training programs per semester by students, by student on latest domain, by student for student. Because you said rejoicing learning ambience, okay, peer learning. Conduction of FDPs. Now, what is that you are planning here? And that will continue. It is not only for this year. Henceforth, this year onwards, you will see this particular statistics. Are you clear about this? Any question about the strategic plan? starting of a new course, starting of a new program, anything can come. A department can start undergraduate program in data analytics. So that can start at particular year. And how do they grow? So I wanted the people, right? Just a minute, I have a call. Back here, there was an emergency call, right? So any questions on this? And auditors, right, will look at this strategic plan and they do it. For example, you said 90% of the faculty members generate at least 5 hours of this one in this year. Show me how many have been done. Audit is against strategic plan. Any
Hello,
questions?
sir.
Please.
Sir, I think should we prepare these strategies as per the opportunities, threats, weaknesses, and strength? For each one of these, we should have a separate strategy.
SWOT analysis, what you are talking, that is used while creating the vision and mission.
Okay.
You know, once the vision mission is created, right, where already you have understood your strength, weakness, opportunities, and all challenges, right? Here, okay, we are correlating our activities to the mission. So it is naturally indirectly connected with that.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, welcome. Any other questions? Now, while building a strategic plan, we consider mission wise. Under this mission, for the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, what is that we do hereby? And once you do that one, we continue that. It is not only for that year. Any questions at this stage? Make it more interactive. Then the online, particularly online, any session, either it is a classroom or FDPs or training program, if there is no interaction, okay, it's of no use. People have to interact. Madam, shall I go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, now look at the question paper audit. What should be the procedures? I'm giving an example of my institutions. Okay, remember. Okay, see here. Right. What all the content should go into this? Who decides? Accuracy. And institutionalize, common for all programs. Look at the some of the things. Is the course outcomes defined for the course truly reflect the critical thinking as per the Bloom's taxonomy? The course outcome, whatever you are written, are they truly at an appropriate level? Majority of the teachers, they don't understand the levels properly also, even now also. Right? Simple example I'll give. Just a minute. Just a minute, I'll give a simple example. Right. Just 1 minute. Okay, I will, 1 minute, I'll come back. So I'm here. I'm back here. Right? Yes. So, any questions at this stage? Any questions? Now look at this. Is each question in this question paper complies with the corresponding COs indicated in the question paper? If no, mention a question number that do not comply. How well sentences are framed? Does this question paper prepare the student for expected industry readiness? Right? People have to go through this. Right? Name top 3 important good features, top 3 important changes required. I mean, when you look at the QP review, you have to look at the compliance of the course outcome. That's how it gets into. Is it clear? Is this clear? Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Right. So now, any questions at this stage?
The question paper should contain from different difficulty levels, right? So
It is not difficulty level, right? Whatever the outcome you have written, it should comply to that. That's all.
okay.
It should comply to that. Right?
Sir,
Sir, please.
higher order thinking skills are usually very difficult to cover in examination system.
Mhm.
Then should we give only the assignments and quizzes?
See, the moment you write a course outcome, whatever level may be, you should confine to that particular level. Right? For example, my course outcome is at the end of the course, student will be able to design. That means design level only will come. You cannot set lower than that. That's what we said in our audit, right? Do question paper, questions in question tests. Are you getting this? Do question in a question paper comply to this or not? Okay, otherwise course outcome you have to change. In that case, you are lowering your standard. You have to decide. And if that cannot be answered in 3 hours, get into assignments.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right. Anything else? Anything else? Now I want to keep the things open for discussions.
The course outcome revision, right? That should have come before the question paper setting, right?
No, course outcome, the moment you write the course outcome, okay, everything is free. It is a part of the syllabus. It is a part of the syllabus. So you cannot alter that. You cannot alter. Course outcome you cannot alter. Anything else? I'll keep it open, just 10 minutes, okay, for the discussion. Please. Please discuss, initiate, okay, this, right. Any questions? Not clear. Audio is not clear. Hello?
Participants can also post the questions in the chat box. Okay, there is a question by Ms. Biji.
Mhm.
Can we keep hard copies of all students for auditing?
Hard copy of what?
Hard copies of all students,
Student
or
submission.
students' answer papers.
Yeah, you have to keep it because anytime that will be editable. Anytime. Okay, if people wanted, they will look into how the assessor, how the evaluation is being done. Because 10 marks, out of 10 marks, how marks is being awarded, people will see. You have to preserve all answer booklets, all assignments. You have to keep it at one place. Sample, you can keep it as a summary part of that somewhere else for showing.
So all answer papers needs to be preserved. All the students,
What is
or
that?
only all the answer papers need to be preserved, or only the sample.
No, all. You preserve all. You have to preserve. Last 3 years or last 5 years, whatever that is there. Right? For NAC, it is last 5 years. For NBA, last 3 years. You have to preserve. Everything should be there.
Okay.
Without missing a single sheet. Any questions? Exit surveys, I'll get into. Exit surveys are very important, right? You need to prepare a report on that. Exit surveys, right? Look at that. So you try to institutionalize a report format, I'll show. And look into that. Here, exit survey, what all things it should go. It should get into the format, whatever your use form, and some of the summaries. It is a findings of exit survey on POs and PSOs. For example, can you apply the knowledge of mathematics? Okay, in your form will decide everything and how many are there. Now look at that, this kind of report you can get into. Who decides? Accuracy. Are you getting this? Who decides? Accuracy. Right? And the form is here. Right? Now look at that form. Can you apply the knowledge of mathematics? Yes, no, not sure. So you generate report and try to put it here. This report you generate, exit surveys. This data set should be available to, right, all the departments. Any question on exit survey? Any question on exit survey? Any question on exit survey? Here. So we are coming to the end of this session. 12:15. It is now 12:10. Right? If you have any questions, I would like to answer. Otherwise, we'll break for the lunch and join exactly at, right, 1 p.m. Right? Is it okay?
So 1:15.
1:15. Okay.
1:15 to 1.
1:15. Right. 1:15 will join. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Keep the questions ready also, and we'll get into. Then we'll get to the audit. Okay. Next. Okay. Thank you. With this, we close this session and come back later.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Next session will start at 1:15 p.m. and then the session will end at 3 p.m. Thereafter, there will be the validatory function and an evaluation test at 3:15 p.m. Okay, so the evaluation test will be for 20 minutes. Thank you, everyone.